Welcome to it, everybody. Happy Friday, the Chris Salcedo Show on Newsmax TV. Do you remember how the biased media carried on about the alleged lies being uttered by President Trump? I do. Their incendiary accusations led many in the unfair press to have to print retractions and suffer the righteous wrath of President Trump when he justifiably called them out for trafficking in fake news. Well, we have another administration. They are lying, but their lies are harming U.S. citizens. And the press is largely silent about that. They never accepted Trump. Why should we accept Biden? It's an exercise in fairness in tonight's preamble. And a laughingly weak display of spin over fact. It's an exercise in fairness in tonight's preamble. And a laughingly weak display of spin over facts. Team Biden and their merry band of Marxist-Leninists claim that law-abiding Americans being able to construct their own guns at home, which has been a legal tradition since our founding, they call that a crisis. At the same time, Biden and his team claim, with a straight face, they claim that the unmitigated disasters of the southern border, not a crisis.
Well, look, I guess I should be flattered. People are coming because I'm the nice guy. That's the reason why it's happening. That I'm a decent man, or however it's phrased. That, that's why they're coming, because no, Biden's a good guy. Truth of the matter is, nothing has changed. As many people came, 28% increase in children to the border in my administration, 31% in the last year in 2019 before the pandemic in the Trump administration. It happens every single solitary year.
Biden is not a nice guy. He's a liar. That's not me saying it. The Associated Press, through a rare fact check of a socialist Democrat, said, quote, according to statistics published by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, authorities encountered 9,457 children without a parent in February, a 61% increase from January, a far cry from 28%. At this point, I'd like to remind you that Biden's policy of tiers is not only bringing harm to Texas and the United States, but also to illegal aliens themselves. Socialist Democrat Party's policies have led to 6-month-old babies being thrown into the Rio Grande River, 3- and 5-year-old little girls being thrown over that 14-foot border wall and abandoned in the desert. The Democrat Socialist Party's compassion has led to illegal alien detention facilities being fertile ground for sexual assaults against children. And despite this, Team Biden sees no reason to shut down these facilities. But Biden says it's not a crisis. And the slavish left-wing parrots at MSNBS and CNN, they nod their heads and say, oh, okay. By the way, we all remember that Kamala Harris has been put in charge of Biden's border crisis. She is in no hurry to get down to the border, and one might think it's because she compared our brave border agents to the KKK. Oh, what is Kamala busy doing anyway? Well, she's visiting a bakery in Chicago, for one thing. And a lone member of the press called Harris out on her typical laziness in government, Jen Psaki, while she gave this specious answer.
The vice president was visiting Chicago actually to talk about COVID and the importance of communities getting the vaccine when it's available and accessible to them. And so while she was there, like many Americans, she got a snack. I think she's allowed to do that. But she was there to talk about COVID.
Okay. For those of you who are products of the socialist Democrat-dominated government-run schools, specious means having the ring of truth or plausibility, but actually misleading. Jen Psaki was hoping that the American people would fall for her explanation. Everyone can relate to popping into a store and grabbing a snack, right? I mean, how can Kamala be expected to do her job when she's got a sudden attack of the munchies? I mean, really, we've all been there, right? Well, the truth is, the President of the United States and the Vice President don't just decide to pop into a store and grab a bite to eat. What happens in real life is nothing like some dumb Rob Reiner movie. These events, like visiting the bakery, they're planned out weeks in advance for security reasons. Now, all of you are not expected to know that. But you know who does know that? Every member of the press in that room who let Jen Psaki get away with that lie. Now, if Kayleigh McEnany had said something like that, CNN's liberal opinion host Jim Acosta would have sprang up from his seat, snatched that microphone from her, and then challenged her on the spot. And then he would have refused to give that microphone back. Last year, after the election, I said this of Joe Biden. In my experience, respect is earned. And there is nothing in Joe Biden's public life, and certainly not in his private life, that requires any respect from any American who has a conscience. It is laudable and necessary, in my opinion, to oppose socialism, to oppose your loss of rights, to oppose the United States government being turned into Mr. Biden's own personal piggy bank, to oppose your government being run out of foreign capitals like Moscow and Beijing. A Biden occupation of the Oval Office will be illegitimate for all those reasons, and simply because we don't like him or his leftist cronies. And that's really all the justification we need. The Democrat socialists, they showed us the way. Yes, respect is earned. I don't respect liars. The media claimed President Trump lied. Most of the time, the accusation itself was a lie. The basket of biased press used their accusation of lies as a predicate to justify treating President Trump unfairly. This also gave the devious press an opening to undermine Trump's America First agenda. I'm continually showing how Biden and his team are actually lying, harming Americans with those falsehoods. Thus, I'm obliged to treat Biden just like the press treated President Trump. I'll also remind my liberal colleagues in the media how they declared George W. Bush an illegitimate president, how they also declared President Trump an illegitimate president. And now you left-wing haters can witness the fruits of your treacherous and dishonest labors. Over 75 million Americans and growing. We pro-Americans will never accept a lying buffoon like Joe Biden. And as stated, we have you to thank for showing us the way.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.